Good morning. Well, as you can probably tell, this is not our little floating home, so we've got a lot to talk about. Our boat right now is in Mexico, waiting out hurricane season, and we're back in the States. Well, we've got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible. I think most of you realize that these videos don't happen in real time when we're out cruising around. We put this stuff together, and then when we find internet access, we upload it and then schedule them to come out as they come out. So right now we're about 2 months behind real time. So for the last couple of months while you've been watching us finish out our sailing season, we've been in farm country in eastern Washington building out a van. This started as an empty cargo van, a Sprinter, and for the last 2 months, 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, we've been making a home on wheels. And it turned out pretty great. It was actually a lot of fun, and we got to spend some good time with family while we did it. Thanks, Art and Therese. You're the best. We couldn't have done it without you. But now it's done, and after a couple of months working on this thing, we want to get out and enjoy it. So, I guess that brings us sort of to upcoming plans. Again, we don't have any firm plans, but I can tell you right now, we're searching for warmer weather because the last couple of weeks here, it's been freezing cold. We've actually got snow and freezing. So warmer weather is first. We're going to stop and visit some family and friends along the way, try to see some pretty cool stuff, and eventually take this thing back to the boat in Mexico because we have a ton of work that needs to happen on that thing. And we really couldn't see a way to get all the parts and supplies we needed without driving them down. That was the easiest way. So part of the reason we did this is because we can haul a lot of stuff down to the boat. But we're really not in any rush to get there. Like I said, we just spent a couple of months building this thing out, and we'd like to enjoy it before we get back to the boat and work our butts off again. So for the next, who knows, couple of months, we're going to be tooling around on this thing, visiting family and friends, seeing some cool sights, and just trying to have some fun. But what that means for you and me coming up, I don't know. I haven't really decided if I'm going to do videos for this bit of land traveling or not. They surprisingly take a lot of work, and sometimes it's just nice to enjoy ourselves. So I haven't decided. If there's enough interest, maybe we'll keep them going. But for now, I'll probably put out a few. I do want to get a van tour video regarding the build, well, maybe not the build of this van, but how it turned out. Because it's kind of amazing! And it was pretty fun to do. So we'll show you that. We might show you some of the sights along the way. I don't know, we'll see. But I can tell you, today we're getting out of here. We're just about packed up, looking for warmer weather, because it's freezing. See you later. Thanks again for watching. In our last episode, we had one final sail of the season and then left our little floating home and Mexico's summer heat and hurricanes behind. This time around, we head south for our maiden voyage in our newly built home on wheels, and on the way we see some incredible sights. We take a step back in time and we catch up with some old friends. From farm country in eastern Washington, we head south to farm country in eastern Oregon and find ourselves in this pretty amazing valley. And up in the hills of this place, there's some pretty amazing sights to see. And even better yet, some of our old friends, they even met us down here in their home on wheels.
Go get him! Go get him! Get him! Attack!
Made it to the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument. This is in eastern Oregon, and it's kind of amazing. And at this place, buried within these colorful, weathered and eroded rock formations, is an enormous amount of fossils. And we were here to check it out. Not a bad place for our maiden voyage and our home on wheels. And of course, the best way to check this place out was to get ourselves to the very top. Look at this view. Can't beat it. Pretty amazing. Almost at the top.
We survived.
We made it to the top. Pretty amazing view. The John Day Fossil Beds National Monument covers roughly 50 million years of geologic history. And here at the Sheep Rock Unit, which is one of 3 distinct areas of this park, more than 2,000 different species of plant and animal fossils have been discovered. And every year, thanks to good old Mother Nature and the forces of erosion, ever more fossils come to the surface. I gotta tell you, I love boat life, no question about it. But there's some things you just don't get while you're sailing around in the tropics. For one thing, fall weather. Oh man, some crisp, clean, clear air. Can't beat it. And it smells really good up here. Junipers, pretty great. And the view. But after a pretty great day of roaming around through some fossil beds, we were out of there. Because for the very first night spent in our little home on wheels, we were hoping for an equally great spot to camp. Some place that was preferably way out in the boonies. Well, here at the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument, it's actually broken up into 3 different parts. And all these parts are actually pretty far apart. So today, after there, we're heading towards the Painted Hills, but it's not actually all that close. So we're gonna try to find ourselves a spot to camp for the night and then hit the Painted Hills tomorrow. And better news, we got friends coming to meet us there too. That'll be pretty great. So we're off. And after a bit of driving, that's when we rolled into this place, which didn't exactly line up with our hopes for a camping spot way out in the boonies, but it had a whole lot of charm that pulled us in just the same. The little town of Mitchell, Oregon, barely a speck on the map, feels like it hasn't changed much since its founding in 1873. It's the kind of place where people stop to say hi and where there's zero need to be in a hurry. But even though this place feels like it's straight out of the wild, wild west, there's still some modern conveniences. And thanks to this brew pub right in the center of town, our first night spent in our little home on wheels would be right out in front. Well, this is the little town of Mitchell, Oregon. We actually slept on the street last night.
Not literally.
Not literally. In the van, on the street, in front of a bar, because Brenda was a little loaded last night. Couldn't drive, and I wasn't willing to. But it's kind of interesting sleeping in a van on the street, especially one that could either be a plumber van or a couple of dirt bags living in it. Take your pick. But here we are. It worked for the night. So now we're out of here, heading to the Painted Hills. Maiden voyage. But on the way out of town, that's when we spotted this bakery. And everybody knows in the wild, wild west, you can't pass up a good bakery.
It's like a cookie.
Yeah, it is. giant cookie for breakfast.
That sounds just like you.
As good as this giant cookie for breakfast was, well, the almond croissant, it was out of this world. Pretty tasty.
Yeah, this would be a dangerous place to be so close to our home. Like 400 pounds.
From the little town of Mitchell, Oregon, it's a quick and easy drive into the Painted Hills. And even better than pulling into another incredible spot was the fact that just a few minutes after we got here, the rest of our team showed up. With the rest of the team in place, into the Painted Hills we went, and we were doing it on foot. The colorful layers of the Painted Hills formed over millions of years back when this was an ancient river floodplain. And in these layers, there's an interesting array of fossil records. Everything from horses to camels and even rhinos. Even though this place is pretty interesting and incredibly beautiful, and of course we wanted to see it, the real reason we came out here, it was to catch up with some old friends and have a little adventure while doing it. So, after we hiked every inch of every trail, we piled in the vans, and we went out into the boonies to find ourselves a place to camp. Not too far outside of the National Monument, that's where we found this place. And we had it all to ourselves. But to really get the full effect of this place, of course you gotta get to the very top. And the views from way up here, well, they're not too shabby. I know I've said it a million times before, and I'm sure I'll say it again. The best part of our footloose and fancy-free lifestyle is the people we've met along the way. Yeah, sure, it's great that we're able to get out and explore some incredible places, but it's a whole lot better when we get to do it with some incredible people. Nice job, Chris. It's the only reason we wanted Chris to come, because he can carry firewood like nobody. Nice job, Chris. Well, that's the John Day Fossil Beds National Monument. At least two parts of it. But if you watched from the very beginning of this episode and made it all the way to the end, thanks for watching. It means a lot to us. But like I said at the very beginning, I'm still not exactly sure how much of this land travel stuff this year that I'm going to put out on videos. I just haven't decided. If it's something you're interested in, let me know. If there's enough interest, we'll try to keep them going in some fashion or another. But I do know that I am going to try to put a video out about our little van, because it's kind of cool and we really enjoyed building it. So we're going to try to show you that. And I'd like to actually talk about, well, quite a few things regarding this lifestyle, our travels, our boat, what we have in the future coming up. And the only way to do that is to at least put out a couple more episodes. And actually we have a lot of cool stuff that's on our list that we're hoping to see this year before we're back to the boat. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I still haven't decided. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.